Hello and welcome everyone. Hope you all are keeping fine. Very good. We'll continue with chapter 7, Lifelines of Economy, and we had seen what are known as the lifelines of economy: transport and communication. And in transport we have already done about land transport, all the three types: roadways, railways, and the new entry, that is pipelines. We had started with waterways. We have completed the topic inland waterways. We had seen national waterways 5. I made you right. Today we'll come to the ports. Now we know that India has a long coastline, isn't it? India has a long coastline, coastal area. You have learnt about the western coastal plains and the eastern coastal plains. So the coastal area is very long, and because we have coastal area, so there are many ports in India. And these ports also facilitate a lot of trade and commerce. They help a lot in the development of the country. So because of that, we'll now learn about the seaports of India. So take out your book and be ready. Major seaports. With a long coastline of 7,516.6 km, India is dotted with 12 major and 200 notified non-major. Non-major means not so big, minor and intermediate ports. These major ports handle 95% of India's foreign trade. Now you can imagine how important these ports are. 95% of the foreign trade of India is handled by these ports. That is why we have to learn about them. Kandla in Kutch, that is in Gujarat, was the first port developed soon after independence to ease the volume of trade on Mumbai port in the wake of loss of Karachi port to Pakistan after the partition. Alright. India was partitioned and Pakistan became separate. So earlier Karachi was being used as a port. Now we lost Karachi to Pakistan. Now what happened? So because of that, the Mumbai port had lot of pressure on it. Lot of traffic there because of the trade. Karachi had gone to Pakistan. So in order to make it easy for the Mumbai port to handle the trade, another port was developed, and that port is Kandla port. This is the first port which was developed after independence. Kandla, also known as Deen Dayal Port, is a tidal port. It caters to the convenient handling of exports and imports of highly productive granary and industrial belt stretching across the states of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Gujarat. So this port is also named Deen Dayal Port, and it mainly handles the export and import of granary. Alright, and other than that, industrial products from all these states which have been named here. From all these states, industrial products are either exported or imported through this Kandla port. Mumbai. After Kandla we come to Mumbai. Mumbai is the biggest port with a spacious, natural and well-sheltered harbour. Now we are taking a one by one. We have started with the western coastal area. So we have started with Kandla, now Mumbai, like this we go, and then we'll go to the eastern coastal area. So Mumbai is the biggest port with a spacious, natural and well-sheltered harbour. Plenty of places there for the ships to come and stay, and loading, unloading, everything is there. It is a natural port, a good port. The Jawaharlal Nehru port was planned with a view to decongest the Mumbai port and serve as a hub port for this region. Now what happened? I told you, we lost Karachi. Because of that, there was pressure on Mumbai. So in order to ease that pressure, Kandla port was made. Other than that, also Mumbai is a very important port. Maximum trade used to take place from there. Because of that, again there was lot of pressure on Mumbai. So in order to ease that pressure on Mumbai, another port was developed close to Mumbai, in Navi Mumbai I think. It is known as the Jawaharlal Nehru port, so that some trade could be handled there and the pressure on Mumbai could become less. Marmagaon port, which is in Goa, is the premier iron ore exporting port of the country. Maximum iron ore of the country is exported from this port, Marmagaon port, which is in Goa. This port accounts for about 50% of India's iron ore export. Of the total iron ore that we are exporting to other countries, 50% is exported from the Marmagaon port. New Mangalore port, located in Karnataka, caters to the export of iron ore concentrates from the Kudremukh mines. From the Kudremukh mines, iron ore is taken out and that is exported from this port to other countries. Kochi, it is in Kerala, is the extreme southwestern port located at the entrance of a lagoon with a natural harbour. Alright, Kochi, towards the end of the western coast, down towards the end of the western coast, we have this Kochi port, and it is a very important port, and it also handles a lot of trade. Moving along, after we have finished the western part, we come to the eastern part now. Moving along the east coast, you would see the extreme south eastern port of Tuticorin, which is in Tamil Nadu. This port has a natural harbour and a rich hinterland. Hinterland is a area behind the port which is economically connected to the port, important for the port, and the port is important for that area also. So that is why it is called a rich hinterland. Thus it has a flourishing trade, handling of a large variety of cargoes. Cargoes are the goods that are sent through the waterways. Even our neighboring countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives, etc. So we are handling goods to these countries and to the coastal regions of India from Tuticorin. Chennai, again in Tamil Nadu, is one of the oldest artificial ports. It is not natural, it is artificially developed. Artificial ports of the country. It is ranked next to Mumbai in terms of the volume of trade and cargo. Mumbai stands first, plenty of trade takes place there. After Mumbai, Chennai is very important. Then comes Visakhapatnam. It is the deepest landlocked port and well protected port. Surrounded by land on all sides, it is a landlocked port and it is protected. It is a good port. No harm takes place during cyclones and all there. So it is a protected port. This port was originally conceived as an outlet for iron ore export. So it was made for iron ore exports only, and till today it continues with that. Then comes the Paradip port located in Odisha. It also specializes in the export of iron ore. Next we come to Kolkata. It is an inland riverine port. Riverine port, a port on the river. Alright, so it is a riverine port and this river is later connected to the sea. This port serves a very large and rich hinterland of Ganga Brahmaputra basin, and this port is connected to hinterland. I told you hinterland means the area behind the port, and it is a nice area, a big area of the Ganga Brahmaputra basin. So economically this area depends on this port here. Haldia port was developed as a subsidiary port in order to relieve growing pressure on Kolkata port. The same way as because there was pressure on Mumbai port, then which port was developed? Khandla was developed. Again there was pressure on Mumbai port, then what happened? That Jawaharlal Nehru port was developed to serve as a hub port. The same way, because there is a lot of pressure on the Kolkata port, in order to ease that pressure, another port was developed in West Bengal, that is the Haldia port. So I hope you have understood about the different ports, the major ports we have done. The major ports, other than these, plenty of other ports are there in India. So we have done about the major ports. So I think before starting Airways, first let's write the notes related to this topic. So take out your copies and pens and be ready for the notes. Put the heading Indian seaports. Indian seaports. First point. India has a long coastline. India has a long coastline of 7,516.6 kilometers. India has a long coastline of 7,516.6 kilometers. Thus, India has many seaports. Thus, India has many seaports. Second point, India has 12 major and 200 minor and intermediate ports. 200 minor and intermediate ports. Third point, the ports handle 95% of India's foreign trade. The ports handle 95% of India's foreign trade. Now I'll give you the points for different ports one by one. So leave one line and write the first port. Kandla Port. First point in this. It is the first port developed soon after independence. It is the first port developed soon after independence. Full stop. It was developed, continue in that same point. It was developed to ease the load on the Mumbai port. Second point, it is a tidal port. Third point, it is also known as Deen Dayal Port. It is also known as Deen Dayal Port. Fourth point, it conveniently handles the exports and imports. It conveniently handles the exports and imports of highly productive granary and the industrial belt stretching along the northern and western parts of India. Leave one line. The next one is Mumbai Port. Write the first point. It is the biggest port of India. Second point. It has a spacious natural and well-sheltered harbour. It has a spacious natural and well-sheltered harbour. Third point, near to the Mumbai port is the Jawaharlal Nehru Port. Near to the Mumbai port is the Jawaharlal Nehru Port, which has been developed to decongest Mumbai port and serve as a hub port to this region. Leave one line, write the next port, Marmagao Port. First point in this, it is the port in Goa. Second point, it is the main iron ore exporting port of India. It is the main iron ore exporting port of India, as 50% of India's iron ore export is handled here. Leave one line. The next port, New Mangalore Port. Write the first point in this. It is located in Karnataka. Second point, it deals with the export of iron ore. From Kudremukh mines. Next port, Kochi. First point to Kochi port. First point in this, it is the extreme southwestern port. Located in Kerala. It is the extreme southwestern port located in Kerala. Second point, it is a port with a natural harbor. And is located at the mouth of a lagoon. Leave one line, write the next one, Tuticorin Port. First point under Tuticorin Port. It is the extreme southeastern port. Located in Tamil Nadu. Second point, it has a natural harbor. And a rich hinterland. Third point, it handles cargoes to Sri Lanka. It handles cargoes to Sri Lanka, Maldives, etc. It handles cargoes to Sri Lanka, Maldives, etc. The next port, Chennai port. Put the heading Chennai port. The first point under it. It is one of the oldest. It is one of the oldest artificial ports of the country. It is one of the oldest artificial ports of the country and is in Tamil Nadu. Second point. It ranks next to Mumbai. It ranks next to Mumbai in terms of the volume of trade and cargo. In terms of the volume of trade and cargo. Next port, Visakhapatnam. First point in this. It is the deepest landlocked and well protected port of India. It is the deepest landlocked and well protected port of India. Second point. It is located in Andhra Pradesh. Third point. It was originally an outlet for iron ore exports. It was originally an outlet for iron ore exports. Next is Paradip port. First point. This port is located in Odisha. Second point. It handles iron ore exports. Next is Kolkata port. First point in this. It is an inland riverine port. In West Bengal. It is an inland riverine port in West Bengal. Second point. It is a tidal port. Third point. It serves the large hinterland of Ganga Brahmaputra basin. Next, Haldia port. First point in this. It is located in West Bengal. Second point. It was developed as a subsidiary port. To ease the pressure on Kolkata port. It was developed as a subsidiary port to ease the pressure on Kolkata port. So we'll stop here for today and we'll start with airways in the next class. So be good and take care.